Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. From this video onwards, I'm starting a new series of 6th semester VTU syllabus, and in this video, today we are going to briefly discussing about the cloud computing, that is the subject code BCS601 module 1, important topics which are wherever the questions are asked in the question paper. No, those topics we are going to discussing over the in this PDF, and this is the VTU circle resource study material, and I'm just explaining the highlighting the important topics over here. Okay, so let's start without wasting time. The model 1, it contains the 5 subtopics, so distributed system model and enabling technology. So basically it starts with the evolutionary of a distributed computing. There is a one diagram is there. So if this question is not asked in the exam, but there is a chance of asking this question because it has a diagram, right? So that's why if they ask about the evolution of distributing computing, explain with the diagram of evolution of distributing computing, then you need to draw this diagram and you need to explain. So I have highlighted few topics, and I'm mainly focusing on to explain the topics which wherever the questions, so in the model question paper and previous question paper, what are the questions they are asked, those questions I'm going to highlighting over here in this PDF, and this PDF I will be adding in this description box so that you will be able to access there. Okay, so yeah, the next topic is uh, see the key trends in the process and the network technology is there, so it is also just highlighted, but these questions are not asked. But the thing you need to know about these parameters, okay, if they asked, so that you will be able to write over there in your exam. Okay, so next topic is, yeah, it is very important, guys. It is very important because this question is already asked in the previous year question paper. Let me show you that question paper where, yeah, here it is asked. See, explain the virtual machine with the architecture of compared with the traditional and physical machine. Question is there, no? So for this question, you need to draw this diagram. This is the VM architecture where it is the first one is all about the traditional virtual machine, and the whatever the next native and hosted and dual is there, no? All three VM architectures are modern in the sense. See, this is from physical machine, it is comparing with the other three VM architectures. See, this is the diagram is there. You just need to draw this four virtual machine architectures, and you need to explain. Basically it is just simple that you need to explain that it has a two modes, that is a non-privileged mode in the user space and a privileged mode in the system play space. Okay, in the physical machine, initially only application layer were there in the non-privileged mode in a user space. So after it is updated into the in the native virtual machine, it is divided into the guest application and guest operating system. Again that a virtual machine, in the hosted virtual machine there is a VMM, that is a virtual machine monitor arrived, and again in the last layer dual mode virtual machine there is a guest application guest operating system. Dual mode virtual machine is nothing but a combination of this native virtual machine and hosted virtual machine. Okay, so it is a part of this non-privileged mode. In the privileged mode, like that only in the initial physical virtual machine there is a only operating system where in the physical machine only operating system and hardware part is there. After that when the when virtual machine came, no, there in the native virtual machine the VMM, that is already I explained, virtual machine monitor, hypervisor and hardware part came. Then again in the hosted virtual machine, host virtual operating system and hardware part is there. So then this combination of this native and hosted came in the dual mode virtual machine. Okay, so just you need to explain like this, and here the parameters again they have given little bit description over here. So virtual machine architectures, you just go through it. And again this is also very important, virtual machine operation. See, virtual machine operations, there are only four categories are there: multiplexing, suspension and migration, and then provision and life migration. So you need to draw these four categories and you need to explain how. It is very simple. See, in the multiplexing, the as it is this diagram, it is there where suspension and migration, this one part of this multiplexing part, it is going into the storage. Then again this that is comes under suspension and migration. Again in the third category, provisioning, and provisioning is nothing but a resuming. So again the storage space whatever it is allocated, no, that will again goes to the another part of a virtual machine monitor. Okay, then again it is shifting the life migrating from initial space to an updated version. This is the virtual machine operations. So here some brief description is there, you just go through this. Okay, and moving on to the system models for distributed and cloud computing, cloud computing, this is also asked. But here mainly you need to focus on computer cluster, four categories of the parallel and no, sorry, system distributed and cloud computing. Yeah, um, these four topics: cluster computing, peer-to-peer network, then computing data and computational grid, computation product. Because this the if you know these categories, then you can easily able to explain here with a functional and applications are there. Because this question is also asked in the previous question paper, that see, describe the classification of parallel and distributed computing system is there. No? For this question, this is the answer. Here they are not mentioned, but in the textbook they mentioned like as like a tabular column itself. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, here the cluster architecture is there. It is very very important, guys, because in the model question paper they have asked about explain the basic cluster architecture with the neat diagram. So for that reason, so if they ask like that question, you need to draw this architecture. It is a virtual sorry, cluster architecture. Here sir, basically just simple. Once you draw this diagram, no, you will be able to explain. See, cluster contain servers. Okay, like S0, S1, S2, Sn minus 1, and Sn. These are the cluster. S0 is the initial cluster and Sn is the final cluster. These are the box, and it is having a input output devices from the external side. And again disk arrays are there. Then SAN, LAN, NAS networks are there, like service area network, local area network, like that. And gateway, VPN gateway is there. So from the cluster to the it is connected with the internet. So obviously without having internet, we can't access anything, especially in the virtual machine monitors, virtual machine things. Okay, so you need to draw this cluster and explain. See here some brief description is there about this cluster. So single system image is there, hardware, so software middleware support is there, and that is the thing. And here next coming and another important topic, major, it is also very very important, guys, major cluster design. Okay, because this question is also asked in the previous question paper. So major cluster design issues are classified into two types, like a functional character, in terms of functional characterization, and feasible implementation. Okay, as per these features you need to explain this functional character and feasible. Because this question is asked, let me show you where that question is. Yeah, here it is there. Explain the critical design issues in the feasible implementation. So there you need to explain this in terms of these two parameters along with these features. Okay, so once you like availability, hardware, software is there, all the parts is there, and these are the, you just practice this tabular column. Okay, so table. Then moving on to the next topic here, no need to read all these concepts, you need to focus on the important concept. And another question, yeah, here it is the C, oh sorry, um, write a short note on peer-to-peer network family. If they ask this question, peer-to-peer network family, here mainly four topics, four categories are there. So file sharing, collaborative distributed computing, and open P2P platform. You just need to focus on these categories, because they asked about the P2P families, right? So P2P families, there's a P2P system is there, overlay networks, and again P2P families. Here you need to mention these categories and along with the example and challenges. Okay, So then again, a few challenges with a brief description they have given. You just go through that, and moving on to the next important topic is the major cloud service models. There are three cloud service models are there: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. You will see brief, in-depth, diagrams and all those things in the model three. So I think they don't ask about this concept, because this is again questions are there in the third module. If they ask about cloud service models, you need to explain these three parameters. Okay. So next, again, advantages of cloud computing is there. Then service oriented architecture is there. Layered architecture with the web service and grids. Okay, you just look over this diagram. Then moving on to the next important, it is a very very important that challenges. See, discuss system attacks and treats to the cyberspace, resulting in the four types of losses. Here, in the cyberspace, the system attacks and all the treats are resulting in the four losses. So what are those four losses? So here the loss of confidentiality, first one. Second one, loss of integrity is there. Then a loss of availability, then improper authentication. These are the four losses. Again, when the loss of confidentiality happen, the information like leakage, and due to the integrity violation, again loss of integrity will be there. Denial of services, obviously loss of availability. Then illegitimate use, it is improper authentication. Here again some topics are there, like wherever that it is rendering and all the things, you need to practice this diagram. Okay, so once you practice this diagram, you will be easily able to understand, able to explain in your exam. Okay, so from module 1, this is a very very important, because this question is already asked in the model question paper. See, here it is there. um, Discuss system attacks and treats to the cyber, resulting in a four losses. So for that reason, it is a very very important. Okay, so you just go through that description. Then again, here one diagram is there. Operational layer of a distributed computing system. Practice or just look over this diagram as well, because there is a chance of asking this question. This explain the four operational layers of distribute computing system, like this. There's a chance of the asking this question. So you just have to focus, practice this diagram as well. So as per my side, like I'm thinking that it might be a important topic. Okay, that's it all about from first module important topics. uh, I will add this, I will add this PDF in the description box, so that you will be able to access this PDF and go through this PDF. Wherever the important topics are there, I have highlighted. You just have to focus on those topics. That's it. From that's it on in this. That's it all about in this video. Thank you guys.